It's crazy how this live thing, it's like it takes a minute or two for people to actually get notification to come in. Man, my freaking nose is stuffed up. I'm not I'm not doing particularly too well. Hey, what's going on? Welcome, man. Welcome, welcome. Who do we have? Come on, give it a chat. Who do we have? Is it Falker? Oh man, they left already. Oh man, what a horrible, horrible situation. Here I am, freaking sick. Like my nose is all stuffed up. What's up? What's up? Welcome, people. We finally got some people in. We in Salt Lake area, man. Oh, hey. We're in the Salt Lake area. It's actually my favorite spot. Check it out. I don't know if you guys been watching the channel for a while. When I used to have the Freightliner, I used to in the regular 48 flat, right? I used to park a lot in front of this place, and we're in the Salt Lake area. But this is like the airport's over there, and like in the summer, they'll have like live animals right here just eating throughout this field. It's my favorite spot, and so, but yeah, it's for the sake of consistency, I figured I go live. I wasn't able to create another long form. I was able to create a couple of, what I mean, sequence of it, but I think I'm gonna abandon that because it's gonna get way past right. So, like you guys, like I told you guys, in the past that I'm gonna try to be consistent every other day. You know what I mean? There's this guy that I used to follow, or I follow, and I used to watch a lot. His name is Peter McKinnon, right? He always say, "Done is better than perfect," or something like that, right? So don't wait till like the perfect time to do it. You know what I mean? Just do it, whatever that is, right? So, and yeah, I really want to go live, please. You can go live, man. So, but we're here in Salt Lake. We hauled. So like yesterday, we were in California, right? I don't have the little one with me anymore. I dropped her off in Las Vegas. So yesterday we were in California, right? And that box truck load that I dropped off, right? It was I got that out around 11 o'clock in the morning. Let me just say this, right? I almost forgot how difficult it is to drive in California during the day. It's so ridiculous, man. It's traffic, 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 traffic everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, it took me to go 60 miles, or 60 miles. Yeah, 60 miles from where we had to drop off. That's where we shut down. And it took me about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit more, to drive 60 miles. Hey, what's going on, Pop Tart? But yeah, so I got there around 10:30, unloaded by 11:20ish or so. Let me tell you about. There's this guy, right? There was this guy over there, another step deck with Conestoga. God, amazing setup he had, right? This guy, he was. I set up my ramps, right? And he's like, "Hey man, can I use your ramps?" And he got his own ramps. I understand his logic. My ramps are already out. I get it. You know. So it's he was like, yeah, just pull out, right? This is what he told me. All you gotta do is pull out, and then I back right into your ramps, and then I can use your ramps. Uh, oh man, I tell you, um, I would not have a problem with it. I think if I know him very well, I wouldn't probably have no problem with it. It's just the way he approached things, the way he spoke. You know what I mean? He's like he had a very broken English, and I mean he was understanding. We were understanding each other, right? But it's just like it's crazy to me that you would approach somebody you don't know and tell them something like that, like pretty freaking, you know what I mean, firm. so um so anyway, he was loading up one of those box, right? One of those box truck onto his Conestoga. Now the problem is that when they're fully dressed, when that box truck was fully dressed, it'll be too wide for the Conestoga rail, right? And it's gonna be hitting. So it's crazy to me that that man has a setup the way he has it, right? Such a nice setup, like a freaking $30,000 Conestoga setup on a step deck, and he's got the low pro and everything just like I am, right? Full aluminum, and he's got a beautiful setup, right? But it's amazing to me that I have to walk him through some of the things. He's like, oh man, I don't think he's gonna fit, and I had to convince him that yeah, it's gonna fit. Check it out. Here, look, you measure it here, you measure it here. When you push your Conestoga over it, you know what I mean, just be careful. Maybe you'll have to, you know what I mean, squeeze it out with those bars, like, because they have guide rails on the inside, right? The inside that are going vertical, right? Those bars that are going vertical for your Conestoga, they're gonna be slightly in the way. So all he had to do was, you know what I mean, just push it out the way, and then he'll be able to put his Conestoga over it. It just, I was insane. I was like, wow, man. And that's his own equipment, and it's crazy to me that he's waiting for somebody to spoon feed him. You know what I mean? This information, or this knowledge is like, I don't know. Or maybe he's just one of those guys that just don't want to take action. They just want to go be from the sideline. You know what I mean? Just looking in. You know what I'm saying? And then taking in information. It's nothing wrong with that kind of individual. You know what I mean? It's just that I'm more of a kind of take charge kind of person. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, hey, let's get it done. If this is what we got to do, let's get it done. Let's do this, do this, do that. Formulate a solution and then execute. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. Yeah, I would say so. He definitely wasn't too motivated. You know what I mean? It's like he wasn't too motivated to find a solution to a problem. I would say that. You know, uh, he was and it blows my mind that people would spend. He probably just on the trailer alone. He probably have uh close to $100,000 on the setup there. But it's crazy to me that it's crazy for me to think that he spends all that money, but yet he doesn't have the fortitude or motivation to, you know what I mean, like, make money or find a solution to a problem or whatever. But I don't know. I left him alone. He's like, after he told me just pull forward and I'll back into your ramps and I'll use your ramps, I said, all right, screw this guy. I put up my ramps and left, man. After I unloaded it, you know what I mean? So anyway, special needs in the extra sensitive society. Yeah, it seemed like we have a lot of that going on right now. It's just crazy, man. It's like people want to blame others for uh their lack of motivation, or their lack of their lack of push, to make changes to their lives. It's just crazy to me that people blame others for for something that they could easily prevent it. It's a blame game. Yeah. in where we live now. In our society, a lot of people are blaming other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, like me, if I was to claim something over here on this platform, right? If I was to claim, like, man, you can make this and that, let me show you how. And if that individual wasn't able to make that the way I showed them, and they will blame me for it, right? You know what I mean? It's just something to that effect, right? Something to that mentality. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's crazy to me that, specifically nowadays, like what we have here, right? Like, we have so much technology that we can help each other out, or we can get so much fast information can flow so much faster, unlike before, where everything is like, you know what I mean, everything, you have to either get it through the book or get it through the grapevine. You know what I'm saying? Just talking to people, experienced people and things like that. But yeah, picture him wearing a helmet and some ski goggles with a big plastic orange whistle in his mouth. Yep, special needs. So anyway, so we went. I was over there in Garden Grove, right? Garden Grove, California, which is close to Long Beach, right? LA area, which is the perfect area. Normally, I don't like going there, okay? But on the open deck, I don't mind that area because that area is so hot, because that's where the port is, right? And a lot of the things are surrounded by that area, so it's gonna be really good, right? Uh, Thirst quencher, how you liking the rates, man? It's spotty, up and down, so, but we can make something out of it, man. There's still, I think I like the directions of where they're going. I don't like the current state of it, you know what I mean? But the direction, I can see the direction that it looks like, specifically on the Southern California, on the open deck, it looks like there's hope, it looks like maybe slightly improving, with a slight percentage of on the plus side on our side, so I like it. Specifically because it's like I was seeing 350, 360-ish result in the area where I was at, you know what I mean? The Southern California area, which is uh new to me all last year, you know what I mean? Like, I'm monitored every now and then, and all last year it was like, where we at, like 180-ish, one. So I would say it's probably a 40%, maybe slightly more better, you know what I mean, result wise. So that gives us a lot more uh room for negotiation. That's what I want to see. I want to see loads and loads after loads after loads after loads. You know what I mean? I want to see the truck to load ratio just a ridiculous, you know what I mean, difference. That's when we can negotiate a lot more. You know what I mean? That's when we can, like this lane, right? This lane that I just picked up from there to here. In the past 30 days, truck stop is showing it to be paying doggone 1,600. I would never go here in this Salt Lake area for 1,600 on an open deck. Absolutely not. 100% not. You could tell me I'll pay for your fuel. I would still not go here from Southern California to Salt Lake on an open deck for 1,600. I don't know how people, and that's the average. That means somebody have hauled it for lower or higher. So the average is right there in the middle of 1,600, which is ridiculous, man. So uh, to make a long story short, this load paid 2,900 to go here. Okay, and it wasn't because of my skill set to negotiate. It was because it was running out of time. As a matter of fact, you guys know I'm a gambler at heart, so I stayed around. Believe me, I stayed around until 1:30. Had zero load. 1:30, no load in California. That's a bad combination. The reason for that is because anywhere you go in California on a Friday noon at 1:30, 2 o'clock, it's gonna take you 31 hour, even if it's just 10 miles, 12 miles or whatever. And most people, you know what I mean, industrial area closes at 3 o'clock. 3 p.m. Majority of them closes at 3 p.m. So we have like 1 hour, right? So I was just still waiting. I've never pulled container at the port, Pop-Tart. Let me see. I need a good mood today. How's the new year going for you? Good. New Year is going amazing. Okay. I have that same haircut. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, um, this one went for this load is a container load, right? It's one of those prefab build container, right? It's a high cube, so it has to go on a step deck, right? I think it's 9.5 tall, something like that. But it's got an AC unit and everything in there. You know what I mean? I can't. I already knocked out the load because it had to be here in Salt Lake at 8 o'clock. They had an appointment. You know, they're setting up a building just right down the road, actually down this way. So, but yeah, it paid 2,900. But like I said, it's not because of my skill set to, negotiate. Not at all. As a matter of fact, I saw that same load posted for 2,000. Right, I was gonna call it in first thing in the morning when I woke up, and I was gonna ask for 26 because it's just Salt Lake. You have to try to make as much as you can. I'd say I don't go to Salt Lake for coming from the Southern California area. I would never go for less than 2,200. 2,300. I like to be at 24. So I was gonna ask for 26. You know what I mean? And it disappeared off the load board. And then I saw it repop up. It popped up again for 22. I was like, okay, we're in the right direction. And then it disappeared again. So I don't know what they were doing. I think they moved three total drivers were here this morning, right? Anyway, so they disappeared again and then popped up, disappeared again. And then I was like, screw it. And that was like 10 miles away from where I delivered. It was in Santa Ana, So I was sitting there with the little one, you know what I mean? We went to a restaurant, went to a Mexican restaurant and ate some food, and then I was watching the load board. And I was getting worried now. But I wasn't too worried for the fact that I wasn't going to get a load. I know on a Saturday, Southern California is still going to be somewhat decent, So, but I didn't want to deadhead back home, you know what I mean? Like make $900 to go to Southern California and deadhead back home. That's terrible, right? So, but yeah, I was watching the board, and then it's like they were shutting down their office, their receiving office or shipping office at 4 p.m. The place where I picked up, and I found the load again posted for 2,900. Let me tell you something funny about this load, right? So it's posted for 2,900. It's by Spice Logistics, right? And on Truck Stop. So I called it, and we talked about it, and boom, 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 boom. Okay, let's get it done. He said, okay. And then he started punching in my information and things like that. Okay, I got you locked in for 2,750. I said, whoa, wait a minute. It's posted for 2,900, man. It's posted for 2,900. And he was like, okay, hold on. Let me refresh. Okay, cool. Locked in, 2,900. See, Spice is one of those brokers that are like also big, right? So they have like a lot of brokers, within inner brokers, you know what I mean? They'll have a load. They'll have brokers that are trying to sell this one load, right? So maybe that's what's going on. Maybe he was trying to make an extra, what is that, 250 off of me? 150 off of me. I don't know. AIM Motor Lines give you another view and thumbnails. Okay. Thank you, man. Thank you. So yeah, anyway, so the outlook on this, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. My freaking, I'm all stuffed up right now. So but anyway, so the outlook, right? So we went 900 from Las Vegas to Southern California, and then 2,900 from Southern California to here, which is Salt Lake, right? And I'm looking at the board for Monday, and it's looking pretty decent actually going south. So it might be going to Tucson, maybe Phoenix, for like 250 a mile. That's okay, because I can also see that there's gonna be a lot of Amazon short runs in the area. That's why, like, look at me. I'm already prepared for it. See, check it out. We're already disconnected from the trailer. Look at my view, man. This is my view right here. If you guys been watching the channel for a while, you're very familiar with this view, because I have put this view on the B-roll plenty of times. This is a good view. This is nobody's here. You know what I mean? Like, Usually, oh, if you guys remember last year as well, sometime in September or something like that, there was a truck that was parked over here that kept on running on and off. You know what I mean? And I was making a video about it. Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry. uh, Hopefully, we landed as well. Yeah. We put a bid on a contract with the U.S. Sports for Wilmington, North Carolina. It's an expansion. Oh, nice, nice. What kind of contract? James said I double tap the screen with my tip. All right, sounds good. I can tell you something that is big business in transport is the new AI boom. Yeah, I agree. My old boss David, he's really into like current events and stuff like that, and he's like into stocks. You know what I mean? So he's definitely a right ear for me for that. With that, it's AI is gonna take over. Really is. It's sad to say. It's sad to see, really, but it's gonna take over. I don't think that it's gonna take over as far as like truck driving. I don't think so, but maybe one day. Maybe one day if they put enough sensors around, on the like. I think if they put redo the roads, I don't know. I wonder how much that costs, and they actually put sensors on there. You could have driverless people, like 100% driverless. You can look into the AI data centers. Speaking of data centers, there's this data center in Las Vegas. This freaking place is huge, man. They had like one, two, six big buildings, like beautiful buildings too. Big buildings, like huge buildings, big generators, man, big cooling system in them. I could imagine how many freaking servers they have in there. AI can't tie down loads. Hey, you know what though, man? If you think about it, it could be done though. You know what I'm saying? It's all a matter of a trial and error, right? AI is definitely not going to tie down loads, but if a human is able to put that particular load to be, you know what I mean, to be in a spot to where a machine could actually just, you know what I'm saying, just shoot up a freaking, I don't know, maybe an automated freaking overhead, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you just go zip it up, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could happen, like if they position it properly, it's all trial and error, right? And I mean, it's possibility, but I don't think we're gonna see it in our lifetime, but definitely a possibility. So I'd say the vehicles maybe actually if you put that same logic with something with wheels on your trailer, it's the same thing, like you can outfit a trailer to fit something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. As a matter of fact, there's one step deck outfit already that's doing that, right? They're able to load tall loads on a step deck because what they were doing is, hold on. Put on my shoes. They were outfitting the step deck to have a lower spot, so that total load can be legal. You know, they, I can't remember what company that was again, but they were like their step decks were like, they had a dip right here where the tire can go in here. You know what I mean? And it had 4 spots, and then the load can be lowered. You know what I'm saying? Like overall height. So yeah, I think I ran boats to West Coast from Minnesota. I don't. I have to tighten straps on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, they def they definitely got a lot ways to go. But I mean, I wouldn't count it out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is it? Freaking just look what's happening everywhere else. You know, it's just that I would never count it out. You know. But anyway, I went live for the sake of continuity, right? I told you guys I'm gonna be more consistent. Definitely, I am finding the vibe. You know what I mean? This uh, on how to get around the things that, I mean, the little obstacles that I do have. They're not obstacles, right? It's just slightly more challenging to do. You know what I mean? To what you call it, to operate smoothly, right? If I was by myself, you know what I'm saying, like it's a lot easier to operate, right? But it's a little more challenging when you have other things going on, so. But yeah, I think I'm finding that sweet spot to where I can slightly somewhat make some money. That's one of the reasons why I re or that's why I renew the insurance and everything else. It's just like, because uh I was like, you know what? I look back into it, be like, you know what? I think I can do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, I think one thing that about me, right? Like, specifically, like, I can excel, I can exceed and excel into just about any trade. You know what I mean? Or just about any trade that I went to, right? I was exceeding and excelling into things, you know what I mean? And just like becoming, I'm not patting myself in the back or anything like that, but becoming up there as a top performer, you know what I'm saying? In that, whatever that field is, right? But one of my biggest flaws would be, as soon as I hit a hurdle and it doesn't run as smooth as I expect it to be, my first thought is like, okay, move on, do something else. And that's no longer my mind frame, you know what I mean? That's no longer how I look at things, that's why I was like, screw that, man. We're gonna stick to it. I'm gonna find a way, and I know I can find a way to get around this. You know what I mean? It's just another freaking bump, right? Hump, right, in front of you. You know what I mean? We'll just find a way to get around it. That's it. So, oh yes, man, I forgot all about that. Okay, we're definitely gonna go check that out. Smoking. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna make a note on it right now. Hold on. Smoking in Greenland. Okay, we're gonna go check it out. We're gonna say Pop Tart sent me. Smoking in Greenland. I love. Is it barbecue? Is it mostly barbecue? Smoking in Greenland with AB. Okay, I better type that in. Okay. Ran Dusty Trail said I ran boats to West Coast while the shrink ramp. Oh yeah, yeah, and definitely AI is not gonna be able to just be like, oh, let me retighten that plastic wrap on there. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. uh, all right, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're gonna go check them out. So yeah. Anyway, like I was saying, right? It's just that I find I always find an excuse to just, you know what I mean. It's easier to just let it be or leave it be. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to improve on it. So I was like, you know what, screw that, man. And I love driving, right? So I was like, you know what, screw that. We're gonna find a way to make it work. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reason why I renewed it. You know what I mean? I was already on the verge because it's for me, what you call it, money wise and time wise, and you know what I mean. Like you'll be better off putting your effort elsewhere. But then again, whatever that elsewhere is, when you get there, when you hit a hump like this, would you do the same thing again? You'll be better off elsewhere. You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things, right? So it's like, that's why I was like, you know what, man, we're gonna stick to it and then run it back. You know what I mean? Run it back, and I'm glad I did actually. I'm so motivated. Even if like the last 2 weeks of December, right, all the way till now, I'm still so motivated. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the open deck market in the on this side of my, in this side of the country is not the best, but I think I can find ways to do it. You know what I mean? To make it happen. So and so far it's like it's looking really well. It's looking really good. It's looking really healthy. I like the direction that it's going. I like my energy. My energy is like, and my motivation is just is through the roof. Like, look at me. I sound pretty bad right now because I'm sick. I'm stuffed up. But that ain't nothing to me right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's doggone 30 degrees out here during the day, and it's probably gonna be in the low 20s tonight. So, but that's not gonna stop me from doing short runs tonight. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, my motivation is through the roof. So, um, there's been a few video topics I want to make, and I haven't been able to. You know what I mean? Because I'm prioritizing, the running this thing. You know what I'm saying? We need to. Breakdowns are the big humps of older trucks. The new trucks have problems, though. Yeah. Um, Pop Tart, believe it or not, I'm so blessed with this truck right here. It's just I know it's not no accident to, be able to run. You know what I mean? Like the way I did, because it does take a little bit of talent. You know what I mean? What you gonna call it? A little bit of skill set to be able to run as far as I have with this truck. I mean, just take a look at this, right? Like, take a wild guess how many miles I have on these tires. Take a wild guess. Look where I'm at. I'd say they're slightly below 50%. I'm getting ready to rotate them. These ones will go that way. Those ones will go this way, vice versa. So, but yeah, I got 170,000 miles on these tires, and I got them from the auction. I got the truck with the original tires. She's a little dirty right now. Pardon the mess. Haven't been able to clean her. So, yeah, but those are the original tires that came from the auction. I aligned the truck 3 times already, but that's what I mean. It's like, without knowing to make sure that your alignment is good, these tires would have gone probably long time ago. You know what I mean? And there would have been a trial and error already. So yeah, uh, it's it's. I mean, those the kind of things that like a lot of people don't, unfortunately, don't possess the type of skill set to, what I'm saying, to be able to stay afloat. That's really the only reason why whole last year or this whole time, other than the year of 2021 and slightly halfway into 2022, you know, I think I would have been in the negative if I didn't have the type of skill set that I do have now. You know what I mean? That I possess, and I'm fortunate for that. I'm very lucky for that, you know. Uh, so It's just that, because I have the background for it. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, most people will not have that are in this industry itself. Even though they've been in industry their whole life. And I'm fortunate to be able to have possess that skill set that I got from the military. Military background and stuff like that. So it's just I am thankful and blessed for that, for having that type of skill set that I brought in here. And I think that's one of the main thing that I think I have uh me over a lot of people. That's why I think I want to bring on owner operators into the authority and let them operate within the authority. But it's like I said, like, most people are not gonna wanna come on board with the company because the insurance is too high. So, but the reason why I think I have an advantage, you know what I mean? I possess a skill set to where a lot of people don't have, and that skill set is gonna help out whoever that independent owner operator is. So it's just it's I'm born and raised military. Yes. Oh, Fort Bragg. Hey, Vic. That's his home. That's his home base, Vic. Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Vic is an airborne. You see, imagine that. Vic weighs like 115 pounds soaking wet ever since I've known him. Ever since I've known him. And then, hold up now. And then he got to jump out of an airplane with 100 and something pound pack on him. And he got to land on land with that much weight. Imagine what that did to his bones. It's crazy, right? The guy I got my truck from has had 3 alignments in 3 years in his stack of receipts, tires, and 120K, and look about 3/4 red. Nice. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's like this, just knowing that, yeah, I spent one, two, three. How much is that? Like, I spent like $1,200 in alignments, 3 alignments already on this truck. Okay. But I know it's sitting pretty doggone perfect right now. But that doesn't mean it's not gonna go off, right? That doesn't mean it's not gonna go off. But I'm just saying though, like that offsets the amount of tires that I could easily ruin off the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, checking tire pressure and things like that also matters a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's just some of those little things, that matters a lot. Uh, the other night I started the truck, right, and the def light came on, and knowing that I know I'm good, I know the emission system on this thing is freaking good. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, I was thinking that it didn't throw a code, but I was thinking that's probably the depth quantity or quality, right? And most people, when they see something like that, right, it's like, oh my goodness, I got bad depth. That's not always the case, right? So, like, when it's measuring the quality of the depth, right, it has a range, right? And a lot of these truck stops, they'll be, you know what I mean, they'll be more towards the borderline range, right, instead. But it's not always because of the quality of the depth. That's why it blows my mind when people say, oh, I only buy shelf depth. That's like 4 times more, man. It costs 4 times more to run shelf depth. You know what I mean? And it's probably just slightly better quality. You know what I mean? The type of depth inside it is just slightly better than what you actually have at the bulk. It might even be the same. Maybe they just pumped it up in the doggone in the container. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, sharks and all that. Right? So, yeah, and I got steer tires, 500 each for Firestone. Yeah, I use, that's what I used to use a lot. This is the 591. Yeah, 591, right? FS 591. I saw these Michelin, and they were the guy was selling them for 650, 620, right? 620 each. And I was like, you know what, man? Let me go try the Michelins. I know the Firestones. I've known them; they're pretty good. But these Michelins are actually insane. They're really good. I love them. As far as like, you know, smoothness of it, I think I definitely feel a little difference, compared to, the other ones. So yeah, I like the Michelins, the on the steers. Have our fuel delivered as well. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and it's but like I said, it's crazy. Like, and and I see people online all the time. They are talking about that depth, right? That depth quality, right? Quality. It has a sensor, right? It measures the amount of depth and how good that depth is, right? So when it throws that code, that doesn't automatically mean that you got a bad depth. If you just grab in general bulk depth, you're gonna be fine, you know. And um most people will be like, oh man, I gotta take to a mechanic. They drained the doggone depth, you know what I mean? And then they troubleshoot it and things like that, and then they put new depth in it, and then they do all of this, and it's like $1,200 $1,500 later, right? The truck runs fine. Obviously it's gonna run fine if your depth quantity sensor is starting to go out, right? It's not always gonna, it's not gonna, like specifically on this truck, right? The Packard, they combine the heater and the depth quality and the depth level sensor all in one. You know what I mean? So when it throws a code like that, it doesn't mean that it was the depth quality, right? The type of depth, and like I said, people just get bent out of shape over that, you know what I mean? And they throw in a lot of money for nothing, you know what I mean? Like, and next thing, they still have the same problem, and more than likely it's probably the whole sensor itself, so delete the depth. Seen guys waste thousands of dollars, still never stop. Yeah. See, the deleting part, right? The deleting part, I think you can delete. You have to delete the proper way. These engines, right? They're measured the way they're measured, right? They're measured to run hot. When you start deleting stuff, you know what I mean? Specifically the EGR, when you gotta return that hot air back into there, that means the engine is gonna run a lot cooler. You know what I mean? That could be a bad thing for the way it combusts, right? That's why the you see a lot of stories of be like, oh man, I deleted, and then freaking 150,000 miles later, the freaking engine took a dump on me. You know what I'm saying? It's because it wasn't done like 100% properly. You know what I mean? Like I said, like they run like their combustion ratio is a lot higher than your conventional, say, what you gonna call it, your older engines, right? So they run hotter, and they want to run hotter, and that's what they're designed to do. You know what I mean? And and when you take that away from them, yeah, it's, the possibility of shortening the lifespan of that engine, yeah, is very high. So yeah, I would definitely, like, if I were looking into deleting anything, I would say definitely just an experiment. You know what I mean? I would never rely 100% and be disappointed if it didn't work out properly, because it's like I said, it's just it's these engines, specifically your Detroit, right? Your DD engines, and this one, the Cummins, they run really hot. The Detroit runs really hot, man. And at first, when I first got that freaking Freightliner, I was like, wow, this thing running way too hot. I don't know how good. I don't know if that's good for the engine, but they're designed to run that way. You know what I mean? They're designed to run hot. And they got these DD engines. They're running freaking over millions of miles. You know what I'm saying? They're hitting millions. So um, I mean, they're designed that way. Yeah, the first few batch, right? They were bad. They didn't last long. You know what I mean? They hit 600,000. Same thing for your Cummins, right? They hit, like, people are saying 400,000. You better get ready to do a rebuild. Like 400,000, man. That engine is barely broken in. 400,000. You telling me you're getting ready to do a rebuild? Come on. See, it has a lot to do with the way you use it too, right? The way how you use it, how you utilize that thing. You know what I mean? It's like it, all of that, right? All of that combined w- brings us into this, right? Into like how is that engine gonna perform for you? But if you follow, right? I would never follow the oil change interval. The what you would call it, directed or recommended by the dealer. Never, I would never do that. I mean, yes, I know they ran those numbers. They probably thought like 60,000 miles is the only, you know what I mean. You use the recommended oil change for a freaking Packer. It's ridiculous, right? But anyway, uh, if you follow the recommended, right, the recommended maintenances on these things, except for oil change, I think you're gonna be all right. You know what I mean? And if you don't, just like take care of the equipment, you know, like don't don't run it like if it's a freaking race car. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you run it like a race car, you're gonna get there 20, 30 seconds faster than the guy, you know, you just passed. But man, how much damage are you putting in that? How much wear and tear and damage you putting on your equipment? You know, that's those are some of the things that you gotta do. You gotta, you know what I mean? It's like I know I'm not looking at it from like a fleet owner side of things. Like the fleet owner side of things is a little different, right? You have to run numbers. It's all about, you know what I mean, it's all about just that revolving, right? Revolving cash flow, right? And I get it, I really do. And I'm looking at it from my point of view, to where I'm a single owner operator, you know what I'm saying? And I I have this is only thing I have, you know what I mean. I am the only person operating it and things like that, you know. So um, it's okay for me to sit around for days. It's okay for me to deadhead uh, 1,000 miles, you know what I mean, and I'll take the L on the gas or whatever, you know, instead of putting doggone $1.25, $1.40 in my on my deck, you know. And I understand, like, some fleet owners will have to do that, and I get it, I get it. So I'm doing good, Sean. I appreciate you for asking, man. I'm a little stuffed up, man. Uh, what you call it? I got a little bug in me. Yeah, not inside physically. It's more like crawling around within my system. uh, yeah, I would say if I was to get, if I was thinking about deleting an engine, I would be more inclined to getting an actual naturally designed, you know what I mean, non-emission engine. You know, that's what I would go into, instead of, you know, uh, trying to trying to bypass these things, trying to get around things, and hopefully it works out. You know what I'm saying? I believe it or not, the newer emission, you know, GHG 17, right? And up, you know, it's been amazing, man. It's really, it's not like the people that are having a lot of emission problem is poorly maintained. You know, it's just it's not it's not doing what they're supposed to do. You know, like your fuel filters, your water separator, things like that. You know, it's just or oil. You know, you're not doing proper maintenance on the oil. You know, all of these things, right? They all combine into like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if if the system, right, see, before emission, right, if the system is not working properly, you know, in accordance to a range, you know, it's okay, you know, it's acceptable, and the system will continue to run, right? But when you have the emission part inside that thing, and the engine part, right, the mechanical part of the engine, right, the traditional part of the engine is not maintained properly, that emission system will notice that, and then next thing you know, it's gonna throw codes at you, and you're over here, you know, thinking like, ah man, is this emission crap, you know. It really isn't 100% the emission crap, you know. Like I said, specifically the GHG 17 and up, you know, they doing really good. They they doing real well, you know. I think I, the 14, oh my God, the GHG 14, I had so much headache. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the 17 is completely different. It's a completely different ball game, you know? Sean said, took off Monday out of Florida, my first week in business. Nice, man. Nice. First week in business. How'd it go, man? How did it go? Tell us how it went, man. How so you're out of Florida, I'm guessing? Where did you go? Where did you go your first week? Dusty Trail said the bill was 53K for the new engine. I didn't pay that guy before me did it. Oh man, that sucks. 53K. As a matter of fact, Parker is quoted on Esmeralda, quoted like 74,000 by Peterbilt. What the heck, man? 74,000? With $74,000, I'll go to the doggone junkyard, go get me a freaking like 100,000 mile block that is wrecked. You know what I mean? Just put that whole doggone thing into that new engine, into that truck. You know, screw that. 75,000. Whew. Florida is horrible for rates. Pure terrible. Yup. Florida is the worst, man. Sean said, with a new MC, it was rough but profitable. Nice, nice, man. Went to New Jersey, then another load to Houston. All right. All right. Heck yeah. See, like a lot of people, you know what I mean? Like your numbers, you know what I'm saying? Your numbers, whatever those numbers are, man. If you're happy with, after your numbers, after you ran your numbers, if you're happy with your number or with what you made, hey, that's it, right? That's what it's all about, man. I just buy a used truck before paying big bills like that. Yeah, I agree with you, Dusty Trails, man. Like you can easily get a freaking truck that'll get you 100,000 miles. You know what I mean? Like these fleet trucks, right? 20K, 25K at the auction. You know what I mean? That truck got 600,000 miles. Let's say with a Cummins in it, it's gonna easily give you 100K. 100K miles. So. I mean, yeah, you're probably gonna have to fine tune it a little bit here and there, but hey, you know what? Depending on what kind of maintenance was done to that truck, But I see a lot of fleet auctions, fleet trucks at the auctions that are going very, very cheap, you know. Uh, my truck has been parked since Thanksgiving. Applied to Walmart, and they messed around and hired me. Now you're screwed, man. I'm thinking of closing down the authority, though. Dang. You know what, man? Walmart pays what, about 100 plus, right? Slightly over 100 plus. Yeah, yeah, man. I me if that's an option, man, I would take that any day. You know what I mean? Uh, because it's like it's it looked like it's gonna get better, but I don't think it's gonna get better any time soon. Like, you know what I mean, in the near future. You know what I mean? It's definitely gonna be a very slow, gradual up, right? Uh, very, very slow. As a matter of fact, it might just be flatline the whole time, and you'll have a little spike here and there. But I think I think I think for me, if it was an option for me to drive as a company, and be happy with how much I'll be making, yeah, I think I would go company. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much headache running a doggone authority. You got there's a lot of things you got to think about. You know what I'm saying? And and then I think for me mainly is that you're not compensated enough for the amount of work that you actually do as a company. As the owner operator. As far as rate wise. I mean, in general, you know what I mean. I know there's some people out there that are making, you know what I mean, making it good, right? As an owner operator, single owner operator, or whatever. But yeah, I think I think if it's I think if I was to choose between being a company with Walmart and say and or an owner operator, I think you're right there, right? I mean, minus all the headache, you know what I mean? As a single owner operator, if you're running about 90,000 miles, right, you're gonna be making about maybe after in general, okay, load board wise, uh you're probably gonna be around 110, 120, right, after your overhead. So I mean, Walmart, you're at what, 110. You know what I'm saying? It's like I think slightly over 100,000 Walmart, right? So like, minus the headache. I mean, yes, you're gonna have to play politics. I get it. That's the one of the things I don't like about being 9 to 5. Working for somebody else is the politics side of things. Run the triangle in your freight lane will turn over Chicago, Atlanta to Houston. There you go. That's not bad actually. And you're in the Florida area. Heck yeah, there you go. I think I've saw that. I've seen that. I can envision that. Atlanta, Chicago. Yeah. So you go from Chicago to Atlanta, Atlanta to Houston. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The guy saying that ended the year at 117K. There you go. 117K. Yeah, that's not bad, man. Um, yeah, as a single owner operator, if you're working the load board 100%, depending on what outfit you're running, right? I don't think you're gonna make too much more than that if you just general freight. So I'd say yeah, company job for sure. I mean, if you were gonna do 105 with that, I'd be happy with that. Company jobs have their own headache. I've done both. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Company jobs will. It's not for me. You know, I tried it. Right, I was with Mantech International, and I moved up to a supervisory position. Right, and really fast. And man, let me tell you, it's a lot. It's a big circus, man. It's a big circus. It's like you don't realize how many grown men that are just babies, man. Big babies. They cry about everything. They it's like, man, really? I have so many other things I gotta take care of. And you coming to me with this? And Vic tells me all the time, because Vic is in a, what I mean, supervisory position, right? And he's a superintendent, what I mean, that's his position. But yeah, and he tells me all the time, it's like grown man, babies, extra sensitive society. You got that right. You got that right. Yeah. But you know, I liked it. I really did. I liked it. I like the fact that, see, for me, I like looking things from the outside looking in. That's how I like to look at things. Uh, I try not to judge directly, you know what I mean? Because if you look at it from the outside looking in, a lot of times you see the bigger picture. You know, pun intended, right? It is a bigger picture. So, but yeah, it's, um, what you call it, when I was in that position, I was looking over 110 people at one point, two shops. I was looking over two shops, and I like the fact that it's kind of almost like, a factory thing, right? You got people over here in this side, you know what I mean? And then you look at it from the, like I said, bird's eye view. It it looks different, you know what I mean? Instead of, direct or directly involved, So I liked it, but at the same time, like I said, it's just the the grown man, you know what I mean, going over to you over some little stuff, crying about over some little stuff. I think that's the one I couldn't handle the most. you know, like it could easily been fixed with something that a grown man should be able to do. But they would they rather cry about it. So yeah. Yeah, that was and a lot of times I really don't have a lot of patience for it, really. uh what you call it, like, I so- I can't, like, sometimes I can't be politically correct, and that'll get you in trouble if you're in those kind of positions. So yeah. I'd be like, man, really, you going to me? Are you kidding me, man? I don't know. I I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be judging them, Billy. I should be looking at it from their point of view. You know, I don't know how much I can chop it off to make it look like it's reasonable from their point of view. But yeah. Anyway, we're going on over an hour on this thing. I didn't think I could go an hour talking all this whole time. My nose is stuffed up right now. I'm it just started too. It just started. It just started like because it was so cold, you know. I think it was because of the cold. So it's just we're just a little, you know. We're instead of we're still 100% motivation wise, but we're only about 80% loaded. You know what I mean? We're still trying to get the other 20%. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be doing some short runs here for Amazon here tonight and tomorrow. Uh, I have, I have, I have my Snap Deck with me right now. You know, crypto. Welcome to the live right there. So this is the best part I love about this place. Come on, come on. Did I get it? Airplane. Yeah, I'm right at the airport. You know where they're landing in. This is right. I'm right under when they're coming in for landing. So the runways are right there, right across the highway. So anyway, I think we're gonna go ahead and end this live over here, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I really do. Like I said, for the sake of consistency, I wanna do this for myself. You know, I wanna be consistent. I wanna be. This is the year of consistency for me. 2026 is gonna be consistency for me. Consistency from working. You know what I mean? Working at the truck. You know, and consistency at home, consistency right here on YouTube. You know, I told you guys last year we're gonna be more active on YouTube, and I think I can make it happen. You know, that every other day. You know, we're gonna try to be more effective on YouTube every other day. You know, so I do try to think of subject and topic throughout, you know what I mean, in between, just so we can make something, you know what I mean. Like I said, every time I want to do a video, I want to contribute, you know what I mean. Yeah, we could chop it up and things like that, but I still like to uh add and contribute, you know what I mean, to the trucking world. You know, I think trucking has one of the reason why it's such a high turnover rate is because, I think we're we're too close into our own bubble. You know what I mean? We a lot of us try to keep that knowledge in, and then most of the new guys, they learn. You know what I mean? A lot of times it's sad to say they learn from mistakes. They learn by mistakes. So, but yeah, it's okay. It's nothing wrong with learning by mistakes. But yeah, uh, Freight Up Trucker said, thank you. uh, Georgia Patriot. Just got here. Time for the end of the show. Keep the sunshine up, drive. Thank you. All right. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Um, Happy weekend, and I'm happy with the direction where how this is turning out to be 2026. So hopefully it stays up that way. You know what I mean? We can only be optimistic. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.